Alright, today I'm going to show you how I put the Honda Prelude seats into my Capri or foxbody chassis. This is Capri with a Mustang front end, but that doesn't matter for this video. You can see the front points. I had to weld that too and raise it up, and that's because, as I'll show you on the passenger side, the rear points do go off on quite the angle. But having them on the back is a much nicer seating position than going straight off the front and then having them sit straight up and down. That's my own preference. That might not be something you like, and you can do it another way. It's fine. So I will show you how I did it. We'll come back to you when I working on the passenger seat. Alright, forgot to film some of this, but that doesn't matter. What I've done is I've drilled out all the rivets on both sides of the seats. These are held in with a bunch of the press style rivets, and yeah, you basically just want to drill them out. Use a 3/8 or ½ inch or 5/16 drill bit, and then you're set. This side is held on with just two fasteners. One has a stud on this side, and one has a nut on the other side. So you just have to swap that over. This is 1.5" by 1/8, and then under here is 1.5" by 1 1/4. And what this does, by welding the back piece here and then this piece to it, you basically kept the height the same, and then you've brought that over the needed roughly 3 inches. And this side is actually pretty easy, because all you have to do is cut, and when you cut these off, you need to cut some tube that sleeves a bolt, and I'll show you how I do that in a little bit when I get to it. Alright, we skipped a bunch of the steps on installing the Prelude seats into your Mustang, but this is where I'm at right now on the passenger side, as the driver's seat is done. This is the for the heater. Just move it out of the way. That was one of the things I wanted to do in this car, is to put in heated seats, and that's why the Prelude seats were chosen. You can see we drilled the 3/8 holes. Drilled these out for 3/8. Yes. And the derailleur or lock will go in there. This is pretty easy to install in your car. I'll just get a tape measure and I'll show you track width and spacers. So we'll be back in a little bit. Alright, we're back with a tape measure. So you can see our spacer here is just oh, phone flipped over. Hold on. It's just at 3 inches, give or take a 30-second. 3/8 by 3.5 inch bolt. Right now they just have a regular nut on them, but we're going to swap over to a nylock. Oh, phone's flipping all the time. One of the things you have to keep in mind if you're using the factory rear points is this one is offset, and you're looking for roughly around 10 3/4, which this is, and it fits in nicely. Used 4 of them. You can't really get in any more because of this hump here. I did have to cut down a little bit of the steel pan to get this inward. If you're doing this, you'll find that out. Right now, the plate is just still tacked in. Nothing's finished and done. In the end, what we'll do is, to strengthen up the seat frame, is we'll take from this bolt hole, and we'll go to this bolt hole here, and that makes it quite stiff. I noticed before I did this, I didn't have that, and you were getting some bend in the rail on this piece because it's quite a thin material, and now you've extended 3 inches off of it, so you've added so much more leverage, so it's easier to bend it. But going across, it seemed to fix that. So yeah, we'll get back to putting it together, and when I get this on, I'll show you how to set all that up. Pretty simple, but I'll show you how I did it. Alright, so now we're almost ready to bolt the seat into the Capri here. Got that side done. I'm not sure if in the last video I had this on, but yeah, we welded her up, just little tacks along the side, and that's just to hold all these tubes from possibly ever wanting to shift or walk over time. although these are all on Nylock, so I don't think that'll come out. This one's been painted up. Yeah, just kind of just got bored with the TIG welder and just kind of walked them into each other and did the other side, but you won't see it, and painted with a random silver paint I'd line around. And then we made this bar, which is just a 3/8 or half-inch tube with a little bit of 1/4-inch plate and 1/8 on that side. And all that does is stops the flex. You can see it's quite rigid now. But you can see on the front it does go in a tiny bit, and that will mostly be solved when the seat actually bolts to the mounts inside the chassis, which we will get on to welding. Right now I just tacked them in when the seat was in there. As you can see, that one has extra, it needs to be mounted, and they have no holes drilled in them, but that will that'll get done when I'll do the hole drilling last. So yeah, that's where we're at. We're almost done. Alright, so this is the latest video on the Prelude seats. As you can see, there's no Prelude seat in here, and that's because it's upstairs and I'm too lazy to bring it downstairs. And if you're really interested in this video, just ask a question in the comments, and I'll get back to you and try to describe how I did it. Alright, so we got these 1.25 inch, or maybe it's 1.5 inch. I think it's 1.25 inch, but 1/8 flat bar bent over with some holes drilled in where the fronts line up. We're using the bottom studs. It's still got to get grinded up and cleaned, but I'm still on removal of the old roll cage. And yeah, once I do that, then I can paint this interior after I clean up the roof after doing those repairs. We'll see if this seat passes the arm test, but we'll get back and I'll show you that now. Alright. So yeah, passes the shoulder to arm test. And that's me in the seat. Hopefully you can see it. I don't know how the angle's at, as I'm the only person here today. So yeah, I'm happy. Doesn't flex too much. Seatbelt points are roughly around the same. Everything feels right. Shifter's going to be in a nice place. I mean, reaching, I can get all my factory knobs. Yeah, pretty happy. Tell me what you think. Hopefully you like it as much as I do. And hopefully you got any of that on film.